So, hello everyone. Today in this video, we are going to learn about invoice approval rule and rule rules which are related to group in parallel. So, in our last video, you might have seen uh, auto approve and supervisory hierarchy. Supervisory hierarchy, we have seen these two list builders, how to use these two list builders in our last video, which is related to invoice approval rules. Today, we are going to learn about invoice approval rules, group in parallel. So, which means that for any if I take an example, any invoice which is above $5,000, it should route to group of people. Group of people. Like in this group, we may have X, Y, G, A, B, C. Likewise, you can have n number of people in that particular group, and in group in parallel, it should it will route to the notification will route to everyone at a time, and at least any one of person approves it, and the invoice will get approved. So let me write it here. Any one of the group member approves invoice will approve it. Will get approved. Anyone rejects it, invoice will get rejected. It's like first come first action, like first come first serve. If any person pick the invoice and approves it, the invoice will get approved. And if any person rejects it, and the invoice will get rejected. That is the group in parallel behavior. Mm, To configure this, first we need to create a group. We need to create a group and we need to add the members, and then we need to configure the rules via spreadsheet. So these two are the mandatory steps to perform this group in parallel functionality. So I hope you understand how group in parallel works. So once you initiate any approval, it will route to the group members, and if any person takes first action as a reject, it will get reject. If any person takes first action as accept approve, it will get the invoice will get approved. That is the group in parallel behavior. So first, let's create a group. First, we need to go to the work list. I have already opened it, and if I click on this administration, click on the approval groups, and you have this groups option. Click on plus icon. Now you can give the name. Once you give the name, click on plus icon to add the members. So search your approver people, and click on OK. So for time being, I have already created one. So I'll just open one. This is my group which I have created already. So if you see here, the invoice will route to these three people: Sky, Charles, Adams. These three people, and also ever first takes first action could be approve it or could be reject. That will be the final action. So this is how we create this group in parallel. Now I'll just go to the invoice configuration rule where we can configure through spreadsheet. So maybe I'll write less than 5k auto approve. For auto approve, we need to select list builder as auto approve, and so I set less than 5k, right? Less than or equal to 5,000. So you need to give the amount. Here we have multiple options to select from the invoice header: business unit, rule evaluation currency type, created by you can use whatever the list builder you want to use, and you have multiple option as well. Invoice distribution, you can utilize whatever business requires. Now above 5k group in parallel. So what I'm trying to say is that any invoice which comes above the $5,000, it should route it to particular group of people. This particular people will take action, could be rejection or approval. So we need to write in that way that invoice above 5,000, it will route it to these three people. So we'll just try to write the rules. Now you need to select the group in parallel. So as I said, what happens in group in parallel? It will route it to everyone at a time, and first person will take the action, and that will be the final action. So notification will be sent to all these people at a time, and whoever takes the first action, that will be the final action. So that is the behavior of group in parallel. Let's go to the spreadsheet once again. So here you can see you need to add that particular group name here, which we have created just right now. This one I have created it. So I need to enter this group name there, group in parallel. And my condition is that greater than or equal to 5000.01. So any invoice above 5000 will route it to this group. And in this particular group, we have three people, right? And those people will take the action. And any invoice which is less than the 5K will get auto approved. That's how I have written the rules. So I'll just click save, and from the instructions, click on the generate rule file. So it will generate one zip file. So click OK. Now open the server. Now go to the setup and maintenance, flow rules. Under manage payable workflow rules, you need to update this one. Click upload, browse the file. So this is the one which I just generated. Click OK, and you can write your comment group in parallel sheet, and submit this one. Click OK. So click on refresh until it gets succeed. Yeah, it is. The status is successful. Now we'll do the testing part by creating one invoice above the 5000, which will route it to three people. Let's see. Go to payables, click on invoice, and click on task menu, create invoice. Select your supplier, select your site. If we have multiple site, we need to select manually. Now give your number, group. I'll just write it as group 5101 US dollars, and my condition is above 5000. So my expectation is that this invoice should route it to three people, and any person out of the three people takes first action, that will be the final action. And let's see if my expectation meets or not. 6000, enter distribution combination, click OK, click validate, and now initiate. So if you can see the status as initiated. So for any approval status, you can now check through the transaction console. So I'll just go to the transaction console. Where it is, yeah, this one, transaction console, but it will take time to hit the approval rules by the system. Yeah, if you see here, invoice name is group one, right? And submitted by Sky and assigned to three people. So as I shown you in the configuration part, these three people, and it's my invoice routed to these three particular people, Sky, Edwards, Adams. Now, since I have the authority to approve the invoice, I'll just approve it through notification. So my plan, my requirement is that my assumption is that if any of the person takes action, that will be the final action. Like for example, if I approve this invoice, that will be the final action for this invoice, and these two people will not have the any choice to no reject, because first person action will be the final action. It could be no Sky or Edwards or Adams. Any person of this group takes first action, that will be the final action. So let's see, if I click approve, it should stop for the further process. So I'll just approve this one. This is my invoice which I have created $6,000. Just approve it and refresh the invoice. So if you see here, this is still with assigned with Adams and Edwards, which means that it still requires approval from the other people. Why it's happening? So I intentionally kept this point pending, because if you see here from the group invoice upload group, there is an option view additional setting, voting percentage. Here you need to select approve, and if you keep 100% as a voting percentage for the group in parallel, every person from the group have to approve. And by default group in parallel, if you haven't select any voting percentage, 100% of the group have to approve. But if you keep 30% and default outcome as approve, and outcome trigger policy should be immediate. So it means that if you keep the 30%, at least one person from the three people you know approves it, it will get approved automatically. So that is the use of voting percentage. So I'll explain why once again. If you keep the 100% and from my group 100% means three people, and if I keep 30%, for example 30 by 3, which means if I keep 30% or 33%, at least one person from the group approves it, it will get approved automatically from the group. But if you keep 100%, three members, 100 percentage means three members. And if I only want at least one person from the group approves, it will get approved automatically, which means that 33% or 30%. So you just need to calculate, by using the formulas, like 100 by 3, or if I have the 4 members, 100 by 4, I should keep 25%. If I have 5 members, I'll keep as 20%. Likewise, you need to enter the percentage vote outcome. So vote percentage 30%. Now I'll just click save, and I'll just click generate rule file once again. Click OK. Now I'll upload once again. Upload it by selecting in parallel voting 30%. I intentionally kept group in parallel last sheet to walk you through how it works, especially with the voting percentage. Let's see with the 30%. Click OK. So when you use the group in parallel list builder, and if you don't give voting percentage, it will take by default 100%. So to avoid this, for example, if your requirement is every person from the group should approve, you can use the group in parallel 100%. But your requirement is to at least approve by one person, at least one person from the group. Then you need to enable the voting percentage, and you need to give the percentage. For example, 30% in my case, but it may varies from your case to case. You need to enable the voting percent. How you can enable is invoice approval, view additional settings, and you can see voting outcome properties. That's how we can enable it. Now I'll just check it once again. Successful. Yeah, it got uploaded successfully. Now I'll just create one more invoice. And now my expectation is that if one person from the group approves it, it should approve automatically, and like it should not route to any other person. In our previous case, it still routed to other two people because it yeah, the voting percentage 100% by default. Now I kept 30%, right? Let's see. Group 2. This is my second invoice, that's why I kept it as group 2. Now take more than 5,000 amount. Enter the amount once again here. Click save. Click validate. Now initiate your approval workflow. Check the status. It is initiated. Let's see by going to transaction console. Click transaction console. It is still pending. It's still pending to assign to the approvers. So click on refresh. Yeah, I can see now it is assigned to particular people. One is Sky, Edwards, and Adams. Now since I kept working rules, group in parallel, voting percentage 30%. Out of three people, 30% means at least one person. If at least one person from the group approves it, the invoice should approve. Invoice should get approved. Let's see. I'll just approve on my side. And if I approve it, no, it should stop for the any further approval requirement. This is the one, 7,000. I'll just approve it. Now refresh once again this transaction console. You see here, approved by Sky, and it's stopped for further routing for the people. But if we see here, the last invoice, group 1, it is still with these two people because we get 100% voting percentage, which means that out of the three people from the group, every person should approve it. That is the meaning of 100%. And for this case, after editing my rules to the 30%, once out of these three people, one person approves it, that will be the final action, and the invoice get approved by system. So I'll just go to the invoice screen once again. Here also we can see the status of the invoice. So the second one, see workflow approved. It is it stopped there, but if you keep the 100%, three people from the group should need to approve it. That is the difference between a voting percentage of 100%, 30%. So I'll just explain it once again, in nutshell. So invoice group in parallel is like, it will route it to the particular people, and any person takes action will be the last, any person takes action. If you keep 100%, every person needs to take action. And if you keep 30%, any person from the group approves it, that will be the final action. But you need to remember that it will route it to everyone at a time. And it is not like, it will first X needs to approve, Y, then Y needs to approve, or then Z needs to approve. It's not like that. If you keep 100%, it will go to the 6%, and without following any sequential order, it needs to approve by all the group members. But if you keep the 30% or any percentage other than the 100%, it will only it requires only the 30% of the group person approval. And then we need to create group members, and then we need to create the configuration rules, whatever the business requirement. So here I mentioned once again here, group in parallel. If you don't give any voting percentage, it will default the 100%. But if you need only one person from the group should need to approve, then you can keep percentage based on the members in the group. I hope I'm able to explain clearly. This is really important, voting percentage. If you have any doubt, do comment. I'll try to respond for your doubts.